Hi, good evening, and welcome to the stream tonight. We're talking about Battlefield leaks again. I just want to say before we start, I have absolutely nothing against Tom Henderson, but we are going to be chatting about him tonight. We're going to talk about what Tom's said and what his leaks are, what he's discussed, what he said on Twitter, and possibly, more so what he's actually said on his streams. Tonight, we are actually using a new feature on Discord. It's called Stage. We were going to do an open mic night tonight and let anyone in. We're still going to do that, but we are going to have it highly moderated. Tonight I've got Ben and North Cinematics, and I've got Balked. Not sure if Stealth Slicer is joining us tonight. Anyone who wants to join us who's in the Discord, please go and join the podcast section. Give us a wave, and we'll have a look who you are, and if the panel are happy, we'll let you in. So tonight, like I say, we've got Balked and Ben at North Cinematics. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
So tonight, Battlefield 6 or Battlefield, the leaks. I've got one or two things I want to say myself, and like I say, I must emphasize that I have nothing against Tom Henderson. I do actually think he knows one or two things, actually more than one or two things, and he's been saying a lot of things on Twitter and on his streams, and tonight I really wanted to discuss that. I'm not sure if you gentlemen are interested in leaks. I personally don't like when people start leaking, but it's interesting to see. You can understand the hype and you can understand why people would do it. Not overly understanding the way this time it's happened. I got involved with some of the leaks previously, the Almighty Dak in Battlefield 1, Drake's Den in Battlefield 5, and I'll say it again, I've said it before, it's entirely up to you if you believe or not believe these leaks. But tonight we're talking about Battlefield 6 or Battlefield leaks. Balked, what are your views on leaks and leakers?
Okay, so there's two ways to look at this. Genuine leaks I find fascinating. There's nothing better than an insight into something that's behind the curtain. But what I think we're seeing at the moment, what I think Tom Henderson is, and what I think a lot of these professional, consistent leakers are marketers. Mm-hmm. They are releasing, drops of information,
teasers,
just little things to create it's almost like a Pavlovian conditioning. Everybody's salivating before the trailer. And whatever we show in the trailer, because we've had all these little droplets of information, everybody's going to be really happy. And I think it's a marketing tactic rather than a realistic leak. Real leaks happen. They absolutely do.
Sure.
There's lots of people who don't care about their NDA or their jobs. But I think in this case, the fact that we're seeing screenshots and these different things, I think it's a given that somebody at a top level said, "Go on, show them this."
Show them something. That's your view on it. So before we actually specifically talk about the leaks themselves and what Tom's been talking about, Ben, what are your views on leaks and leakers in general, mate? Because I know you've had experience with one or two things in the past.
Yeah, probably just piggyback off what Bort was saying, really, because I'm just having a look at the moment at Tom Henderson's stream, and he's pulling in over 1,000 viewers right now, just giving little tidbits, kind of going, we might see something, or we might get it in the next week. And he's been basically the marketing team for EA and DICE. I don't know whether he's been paid or anything, or it's something like, "I'll go and do this, Tom." But he's probably doing it on his own accord, because we see with leakers like this, they do like the sort of limelight, and they do kind of do these consistent leaks, and they give little bits, not too much, but I do think Tom Henderson knows certain things. I haven't got anything against leaking. In my opinion, I think it's good. I think it does drum up hype, and people seem to enjoy it. I enjoy it personally. I do like the sort of knowing more about the game. especially when EA and DICE aren't really giving us anything.
Sure.
I do see it as a good thing to kind of gel the community together, but I think it does get to a certain point. I think people do expect these sort of things that Tom Henderson, whether he knows it or not, everything that he says, people are sort of clinging on to every word he says.
Of course they are, because we've waited longer for this game.
Yeah.
We've waited an extra year for Battlefield. I'm not one for leaks. I don't like it. I've never really got involved. I've heard stuff before. You've heard stuff before. I know it's entirely up to yourself or the leaker to release whatever they want to release. What bothers me is when someone says, I have this leak, I know this, I definitely know that, and then doesn't actually release it. It just seems too much. It's too speculative for me.
Yeah.
It just seems like,
Did you see the bit where he put sort of percentages on the thing?
Oh, God, that made me laugh. Right, okay, should we just do one instance? Yeah. Battlefield, the next Battlefield is... it's going to have, destruction in the game. 100%. Of course it's going to have destruction. The next Battlefield game is going to be near future. No shit, Sherlock. As if no one knows that. Well, anyone could say that.
Bring up the thing where he said things like Game Pass 99%. So it sort of gave him that wiggle room of like, if it's not right, it's good.
I know.
I
don't think this is very. This is social media 101.
But can I just butt in 1 second? One shot, we've sent you an invite, so just accept the invite and you can get in the chat, mate. Go on, Bot. Yeah. Apologies.
I was saying this, this is social media 101. This isn't necessarily about the game. It's not about the leak. It's not about the marketing per se. It's about generating an audience, whether it's personal or whether it's for an organisation. This is no different to any other advertising technique,
So do you think there's something underlying in this? Do you think that maybe this has been done on purpose? Because we're getting information, but we're actually not really getting information. We're only getting to know things that everyone knows anyway.
The fact that we're talking about it now is evidence that this
it's worked. It's worked.
And do you know what? It's genius, and I don't know if you remember the whole Bill Hicks thing about if you work in marketing, go kill yourself. I actually, do you know what? I kind of value marketing a little bit. If you're smart enough to almost,
if you're clever enough, definitely.
Yeah, like you're literally hacking the conversation.
Yeah.
You're dictating what we're talking about, and as we are tonight.
So let me throw in a curveball, though. I mean, we have apparently heard leaks of the whole audio for the trailer. I mean, if that turns out to be true, is that something that marketing want? Do they really want the whole?
No. I think this is where you've got to differentiate between, targeted leaks and purposeful leaks, and arguably criminal leaks. I think there's a big difference between the two. Keeping the tap open enough to keep feeding us information to keep everybody excited is marketing 101.
Yeah.
Releasing the entire audio track to the entire game. My argument, that's probably something.
Is that again? Is that what it is though? Can I just stop and just go to the comments just to say hello because I've not done it yet. One shot as usual. Dave, we've sent you an invite on the stage here, so just accept the invite. We have got Slavic Pigeon. How you doing, mate? Not seen you for a while. You always pop in. Emerald. Always, thank you, mate, for popping by. Wincon. Battlefield 6 is the 12th Battlefield game. Won't that make sense if it was releasing on May the 12th? I suppose it would. It's not actually releasing. Maybe the trailer will release on May the 12th. But I think the game itself is going to be November or sometime late this year. Also, Mike, how you doing, mate? Gave you a wave on my bike the other day. Poppy, how you doing? See you tomorrow. And obviously, Emerald's just popped on again. Thank you for everyone who's watching. We've got 10 watchers at the moment. We've only got 3 thumbs up. It'd be nice if you could press that like button. Subscribe will do. And if you could subscribe to Ben at North Cinematics. If you just search for North Cinematics, you'll find him there. Box hasn't got a channel yet, but I'm sure he's thinking about it. Anyway, we're going to go back to Tom Henderson. So I'm not sure if you gentlemen, I know Ben, you watch his streams because you want to know everything Battlefield. Box, have you watched any of his streams, mate?
Do you know what I did over the last week, or last weekend especially, because these screenshots come out and all this new stuff.
Sure.
Again, I'll go back to this. I feel like it's marketing. I feel we're being played. I don't necessarily think there's anything dishonest or underhand about it. I think it's just a marketing strategy, pre-release of a big trailer and a big event. Let's get people hyped. This is Hype Squad.
And it's definitely working.
Everybody else is. Yeah, do you know what? It's interesting. And the fact that he said it might be this, it might be that, adds even more to the tension. Because if he came out and said it's going to be A, B, C, that's it. Everybody would go, cool. But the fact it may be A, it may be B, or it may be C, gets us talking even more. It's strategy.
It's getting Battlefield out there again. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe it is a marketing strategy, Bort. I have to, now thinking about it, I have to sort of agree with you there, because the bottom line is they've had an extra year out from the game, because we all know Battlefield 5. We're not even going to go there. We all know what happened there. And I think the best thing they did was take an extra year off. But now, thinking about it, what you're saying, Bort, it is really making me think that maybe this could be some sort of marketing hype. So, Ben, I want to ask you, because I know you're buzzing for this game and you're getting involved in the leaks and what Tom's saying. And again, let me emphasize, nothing against Tom Henderson. I know a lot of people think I give him shit on Twitter. I don't actually give him shit. I just want him to say, if he knows, tell us about specific things, and I've hinted at certain things, and he's not come through with it.
He'll only tell you what he's being paid to tell you.
Right, possibly, we don't know.
That's the cynic in me speaking there, of course.
Yeah, exactly. But Ben, anyway, what particularly do you find? Let's go the positives first about what Tom's saying. Let's say that Tom's saying whatever he's saying is right. What's actually getting you buzzing about the things that he's saying?
Yes, I mean, if I look at what Tom Henderson's been saying, I mean, I've been following him for quite some time now, and I have been going back and forth whether I believe him or not. Not that I don't believe him, but on certain things that he's saying, I mean, certain things he does contradict. But the things that do get me excited are obviously the improved destruction, that was to be expected. But
100%.
He was talking about sort of skyscrapers coming down and shit like that, and the idea that destruction had morphed into like the whole game. It wasn't Levolution, like scripted events. It was more like just destructible environments. And the fact that he was talking about 128 players, obviously, as a Battlefield fan, that's going to get me excited. I like lots of vehicles. I like lots of infantry combat, bigger maps, things like that. So that got me excited. And obviously the next gen he talked about. And I mean, if I look back at it, I go, I could probably predict.
I've said that anyway. Yeah.
Like thinking back, I could probably say the next Battlefield game is going to be larger player counts, next gen only, big focus on multiplayer, like he said, and no
crossplay.
Crossplay as well.
We could all say that.
We could say that, yeah. And the things that I don't necessarily believe him on is when you actually go back and listen to his live streams, and this was the certain thing that I was doing where I went into...
Forget to be excited, stop, watch the live stream 3 or 4 days later and analyse the live streams. I just saw...
tracks.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to say, just before I go on, hi, Crazy Monkey, how are you doing? Chris Christy Gamers on. How you doing, mate? We've not seen you for ages. We actually spoke about you. Was it last week or the week before? When we have the after podcast thing, and I was saying where you were, and I think you dropped off social media and all that. Really good to see you again.
Nice one.
A lot awesome. 1000. Finally talking about the important things leaks. To me, honestly, it's not that important. I get annoyed, and Ben will tell you I've spoke to him away from the camera, and I actually get annoyed by leaks. But sorry, Ben, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, the problem that I have with Tom Henderson, and this again, I actually believe a lot, and I've said this to you as well. Definitely, I do genuinely believe what he says. But I do have my issues when I actually look back at what he said, and he goes, "So this is definitely happening." This was like, because he's done 3 streams now, and I've watched every single one. The only one I haven't watched is tonight, because obviously I'm doing this with you. But I've seen these streams, and the first stream he said, 100%, this is coming. This is definitely coming. Then the second stream I watched him, it went down to about 90%, 80%. And I was like, I understand that, but I do understand. But then if you've seen that trailer, you must know that
we've had this conversation, Ben. We've had this conversation. And what did we talk about? You said, Devlin, this, and this. And I said, look, when you listen to someone who's watched the trailer, turns around and says, I'll be happy if I'm 80 or 90% right. Yeah. If you've seen the trailer, you are 100% right. I understand you're not showing the trailer. If I was a leaker, I'd want all the kudos, I'd want all the attention, I'd want everything, and I'd be putting that trailer out there and said, look, this is Devlin. Because people have talked about me for years and years on saying that was that guy who shown the trailer. Next time when he says the next Battlefield game is going to be this, or the trailer is going to be that, that's the guy you believe. So in that sense, Tom, and again, I've no problem with Tom, but if that was the case, Tom, that because you actually said you've watched this trailer 100 times. Yeah, and you really do sometimes contradict yourself.
This is what I wanted to say as well, is when he was actually, because he said on the stream that he was actually looking at the trailer at the same time, which bit like, if you're looking at the trailer, sure, you know what's there, and he'd be like, so in the trailer, basically what happens is there's like a 1-second clip when you see either a person in a jet. Actually, it could actually be a Jeep, or it could be just a tank. I'm not really sure on there, not 100%. But there's a vehicle part when you're in it, and I'm like, if you watch that trailer and you're looking at it, you know what's in it.
Because I actually said this to you because I've had a little bit of information. I'm not going there. I'm in the tech industry, but what really bothered me, and I've actually said this to you, Ben, is that when he was talking about the trailer, he said, there's a couple of Ospreys, these helicopters, and I think there was jets in it. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you think there's either jets or not? And if it's not jets, you'd be saying, holy shit, it looks like a couple of jets in the trailer. I have really no idea what they are. They might be, these futuristic, new concept airplanes. But I think there might be a couple of jets in it.
If I sent you a trailer, what would you say? Definitely, you wouldn't say there might be. You'd say exactly what
I'd say there's definitely. I'd say there's 2 Ospreys in it. There's helicopters in it, and there's these 2 jets that go flying by. One goes, left. One goes right. I wouldn't say, and I think there might be jets in it. Do you know what, Tom? You've watched this trailer 100 times.
Could I just
go on, Bob?
Devil's advocate here?
Yeah.
So just so I've been talking and listening, I've gone back and reviewed the Battlefield 3 launch trailer because I'm like that. I'm a bit anal about these things. So in the whole launch trailer, which is 1 minute 46, there is 2 seconds of jets. The carrier mission. Right. And you literally just see a jet fly across the carrier. That's it, literally 2 seconds. Yeah. There's 0 gameplay. It's all just minuscule snippets of cutscenes. And do you know what? I've just made a mistake. There's actually 2 jets flying across the carrier, not 1.
Right.
I'm literally watching this back live as we're speaking. These trailers are like bam, 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 bam. I completely understand why somebody goes, you know what? I saw it last week, but I can't remember if there was 2 or 3 or maybe a jet and a helicopter. That's reasonable.
But Box, if you had the trailer, you would analyze. If you're a leaker, if I'm a leaker and I've got, I went from, for argument's sake, 1,000 subs to like 100,000 subs, I would sit down, I would analyze that, and I would point to point. And then I would say there was 2 jets going by. Yeah. I might be wrong. That's what I'm saying. That's my whole argument. That's my whole argument.
Just come on. If I had 1,000 viewers watching me, let's say, I wouldn't come on the stream and go, all right, guys, there might be a couple of jets. Could be a couple of it might be a Jeep. And you see on the trailer, Jeep. It could be a tank, jet. No, you'd
say it was a vehicle.
This is what happened. I'm telling you,
the premise that this is legit. This is the mistake you're making.
But we're saying but we're coming from the argument that he is a legitimate source of information.
That's incredibly unlikely. That's incredibly unlikely that he would be a legitimate leaker.
Do you know what the best one for me was? Probably not the best one because there was so many. So someone on the live stream, obviously I didn't see what they said because I was aghast at the actual live stream itself. But someone asked Tom. Basically, it might not be word for word, but he said, Tom, what about the weapons in the game? And Tom's answer was, I don't know anything about guns.
If you watch the trailer, you'd be noting it down, you'd be consulting with your leaker, you'd say, what's the weapons in the trailer so I can let my audience know how many weapons, what weapons we're getting, what's different weapons. You wouldn't just go, I don't do weapons.
I don't know anything about but that actually goes back to what Bork said though, Ben, that maybe it is a really clever marketing ploy. Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Yeah. To the point where, I put money that's the fact. It almost certainly is. But I also think, let's say this is somebody who's got access to a trailer. They viewed it once, maybe twice in a controlled manner. If I showed you a film trailer or a game trailer, any film or any game, how much do you think you'd get right in a brief rundown?
But Box, if you've got access, because this guy said he's actually and he's watched it 100 times. Apparently, he's got the theme tune is his ringtone.
Yeah. Okay, but again, I'm coming from the fact that this is a marketing thing. So disregard anything but the facts, which is unclear. This guy says he's got access all the time. I'd say that too if I was trying to generate money via my YouTube.
Of course, that's my argument, Box. That is my argument.
But there's also a very good chance that at the end of the month he's going to get a good paycheck in his bank account from EA or wherever.
There's actually two
donations as well.
Exactly. There's actually for me there's 2 scenarios. One, there used to be one scenario, but there's 2 scenarios now, and those 2 scenarios are because Box put it in my mind that this is a perfect marketing ploy, and it's working really well. You've got my head spinning now. I don't think that's Can I tell you something? That's not the case. So I'm going to go to my scenario that this guy, Tom Henderson, has heard something, has spoke to someone, has had information, but he's milking the shit out of it because, let's go back to what I think was the perfect leak, and it was the almighty Dak from Battlefield 1 when he did one video. He did other things, don't get me wrong, but he did one main video saying it's this, and this. This is going to be in the game. That's going to be in the game. And do you know what? He wasn't far off. But what's bothering me about Tom Henderson is the fact that he probably has got a lot of right information, but he's milking the shit out of it.
Yeah,
equally plausible. But my
and I don't blame him for that. I honestly don't blame him for that.
We've all got to eat.
If I was a leaker, I would do that.
He's got a little bit. I see your point, Devlin, and that's a good point. Actually, he has. I can tell he has like maybe a little bit of information, and he's extrapolating on
something's come to him, and
and he's gone like, okay, what do you think could be plausible? Okay, Xbox Game Pass, probably 128 players. Yeah, likely. Well, we can say more players.
That was said. Look, Ben, that was said. Remember when they were showing the promos of the new Frostbite engine, and they actually said that.
Well, they said all the players, and people were speculating.
120. They actually said 128 players, mass destruction on a level you've never seen before, and these are all Tom's 100%.
That makes sense to have.
You know what?
So
change the numbers and the scale slightly. Those are also the same markets in terms of Battlefield 3. They were the same market in terms of Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Sure.
Scale and scope.
Scale. Never before seen destruction. These were the norm.
That's a Battlefield thing, isn't it? Never before seen.
Do you know what? When Battlefield 3 came out, absolutely correct.
It
was a month. Yeah.
Tom would be a good thing to employ as a marketer, wouldn't he? You'd be like, all right,
let him do his shit.
Yeah, let him do his own thing, but we can keep him under a leash, like just kind of keep him a little bit close by.
And like Bolt said, pay him something at the end.
A little bit at the end of the month.
There's people out there who do it for free loot boxes.
Oh yeah,
it's irrelevant what he's getting paid, whether it's cash, whether it's fame, it doesn't matter. There's plenty of people out there who'd like their voice heard, and being the insider makes them feel ever so fucking special.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, look at me, I'm giving you information. Yeah.
But like you know, there are multiple different plausible scenarios in this. But ultimately, I think you apply Occam's razor, and the fact that one person is getting direct leaks from a studio and publish them to the public.
We haven't said how.
But exactly, I was just going to say that. Bolt, have you heard how he's got the information? Right, I'm going to go. Right, this is not word for word. This is comedic, so please bear with me. Now, the way Tom has got these leaks is because his mum's friends, daughter's boyfriend's friend's mother works at Boston Dynamics. That's how he's got these leaks.
You forgot the cousin.
Do you know what I mean? I know. But you know what? Let me tell you something. I know. I know Boston Dynamics would not have any reason to have access to the full trailer. You know what they'd have a reason to have access? How their product was portrayed in the game. That's the only they people say, oh well, Boston Dynamics have done this fucking dog thing in the game, so therefore or everyone in Boston Dynamics is allowed to see the trailer. Absolute rubbish. They would want to see, and they would have every legal right to see how their product was displayed within the game. Do they have a right to see the whole trailer? No.
Yeah. We all know that Spot is now sentient. So there's a very good possibility they had to show him the trailer since he was licensed to be in it.
Does it? Just before I go on, does anyone know Quark? I think he's Quark. He's asking, Quark, if you're actually watching the stream, quite happy to let you on. Could you please let us know who you are, what you're all about before we accept? We are moderating the open. Anyone can join. Believe me, anyone can join. Just let us know who you are. We can see your request there to join in on the voice chat. Quite happy, but just tell us who you are.
This guy, he's from Canada. He does a lot of Battlefield videos on his YouTube channel.
How do you know? How do you see this shit? I don't get how you're looking at it.
I don't think you can see it.
The general. Oh, you're looking at. Yeah. Okay, got you.
Okay, Box, let him in, mate.
He's a content creator.
Let him in, and it'd be nice to see what he's got to say.
22.
Okay, so Quark, or Quark 007. By all means, join in. You've Box give you the invite
yeah.
to join. All you've got to do is accept it. It'd be nice to hear from someone. Someone new.
Oh, he said he just wanted to.
Oh, he's in. Quark, how you doing?
How's it going?
Not too bad. What made you want to join the panel tonight?
Well, actually, I was just coming to listen in, and I actually knew a guy named Scott Jordan and Green Keef Chief.
All right, okay. We love Scott Jordan and
Jordan.
Chief. Scott Jordan.
Yeah, me and Scott actually made a collab video on a cinematic project the other time, so I was happy that he actually did join in with the project. And yeah, I've just been making cinematic projects with my content and channel pretty much.
Oh, nice one. So, can I ask you something? Are you a Battlefield fan? Do you play Battlefield? Is that something you do?
Oh, I definitely make Battlefield cinematic projects. I made a few this year, so like, me and Jordan has been making that kind of stuff, as well as Green Keef Chief. He's been my voice actor for most of the projects this year.
Really nice. Isn't that weird that really two subs of mine, and they both came from different areas? Because Chief was actually on one of the podcasts. He asked me if he could promote something. I was quite happy to do that. And Scott Jordan, we've been internet friends for years and years and years now. So Quark, can I ask you what are your views on Battlefield leaks? Just your views, not the actual leaks themselves, but what are your views on leakers and leaks?
I haven't really followed up with leaks much, but I've heard some stuff that it's going to be actually more likely going to be like the most hyped up thing that has ever going to happen this month. But for sure enough, they've been talking about it may take place around the near future, probably 2042.
Yeah.
It's like a little throwback there.
2142.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people think it's just going to be near future, 2030, 2040. Yeah. My information was it is going to be possibly that time. I thought it was going to be further on, but I think the information that I've had myself is that it's actually going to be a lot more futuristic. But as technology goes and weaponry and military, I mean, it moves fast. So maybe I'm not wrong that it could be
in the future. What is that? What the leakers or the person giving the information specifically said, that it's going to be a lot more futuristic.
Okay. So I talked to someone, but before this, I spoke to someone who said someone has seen the trailer. So you know me, Ben. I take everything with a pinch of salt. I totally ignore shit like that. But I was speaking to this person before I was speaking to someone else, and they actually said it's a lot more futuristic that the Battlefield players want to accept, or what they will want to accept. And the guy who was speaking to really likes the slightly futuristic games. So he was happy about this. I mean, I'm not overly happy. As long as it's got feasible weapons. Look, give me bullets. Yeah. Give me bullet drop. Give me, all the aesthetics of a proper gun. Don't give me pew, pew, pew.
Yeah,
I'll be happy with that.
I don't personally think it's going to be pew, pew, pew. I think it's going to be more grounded weapons. I don't think it's going to be like that, in my personal opinion. Like from what.
And guess who's on the chat? We got Scott Jordan.
Young Evans on the podcast.
So obviously Quark is Young Evans then.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he always pops on Scott Jordan. He usually just says one thing. Don't forget to subscribe to Scott Jordan. He usually does. Scott Jordan, absolutely great content. And he does stuff with Young Evans here, Quark 007. Is that your channel, Quark?
Yeah, that's my channel.
So, okay, so if you search for Quark 007, he does a lot of cinematic stuff. We don't have a lot of people watching tonight. However, more people obviously watch this at a later date. So please subscribe to Quark 007. Scott Jordan, no cinematics. And if you could myself, I'm just looking, we've only got 3 likes at the moment, and we've got at the moment 14 people watching. Thumbs up if you could, subscribe, that'd be absolutely brilliant. So anyway, let's go back to Tom Henderson. We sort of drifted off a little bit there. So we had a bit of a laugh, and let's get serious now. We had a bit of a laugh what Tom Henderson has actually said, and maybe he's backtracked. And I know he's fanboys because, you know, they had a go at me when I had the audacity to say something about him on
How dare you?
Twitter.
How dare you? God.
But you know what? I wasn't derogative about him. I just said, look, tell me this, tell me that. Do you know this? If you're going to do that, because I know he's had a bet with Flackfire. Flackfire said, look, if Flackfire's right, Tom Henderson has to buy 6 meals for a shelter for someone. If Tom Henderson's right, then Flackfire will do the same. So Tom Henderson come on and said, I'll bet anyone $1,000 that this everything he says is absolutely true, or what he was saying in that particular actual comment. So I actually said, Tom Henderson, please don't be baiting people into bet with you. If you are wrong, give £10,000 to charity, 10 grand to charity. And, you know, his fanboys obviously instantly came in. But, you know, I have thick shoulders.
People are starting to doubt him, though. Like,
I don't know. Look, he knows stuff. I know. And I think people out there, what he's put up there, you know, there's some things that are right. And Chris from Chris T Gaming Zone, subscribed to him as well, by the way, I forgot. He actually says he believes the images. I have an issue with the images. And the big issue I have is, like, you've got the cockpit area, which is quite sharp. There's no hood. There is 1 or 2 things in there, and then it's quite grainy and blurry. You know, if these are pictures from a trailer, then I understand that. But if these are pictures from some sort of marketing campaign, or if they're, you know, something that they are eventually going to put out there, which they probably won't now anyway, I just don't see it. I think the cockpit area is too sharp. And
do you think they're false then, the images?
Look, I don't know, because I just don't know, so I don't want to say. I'll open up and I'll say shit that people think I'm talking absolute bollocks. Like I've said stuff about Insurgency Sandstorm for months and months. I got so much shit, and then it turned out that, you know, in the end I was actually right. And I even got people that really dislike me saying things like, you know, if I agree with Devlin, then there's something wrong. Do you know what I mean? But
again, to play devil's advocate, those images, they scream rough cut.
Possibly, possibly.
See a lot of rendered trailers these days, especially for AAA titles. Because he's seen a version of the trailer which may not be fully rendered and may not be the full, 4K.
Or low res.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he's not seen a rough cut that was circulated to executives or to marketing companies or whatever. So at the same time, I saw a few articles that said, "Oh, these can't be real. These are too low res. This is more blurry than Minecraft, or this is worse than Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 2."
Cheers, Hackerman.
Not the worst thing in the world. But to me, they scream rough cut. They're not fully rendered, but
he did say that.
It's going to come.
He did actually say that there was 3 versions of the trailer. He said there was like a first version, second version, and third version. And I think he said that what we'd seen was the first cut of the trailer.
Yeah, but they're not, Ben. They're not versions. For over the space of time, they will release different trailers.
Again, just to be again, devil's advocate.
Yeah.
There's generally 3 stages of video editing.
And if like you said,
is your rough cut.
Well, exactly, but I mean, Protons actually said the white tile looked like a white box blockout, and you know what? Look, how many alphas have you played, boys? That you've gone in there. I played an alpha, and I can't even remember which one it was, Ben. And I said all it was, it probably what you had beyond the wire. All it was grey. Everything was grey, and it was just all about the gameplay. When I was playing it was pre-alpha. I have no idea why they invited into that, but I understand that Proton.
It was beyond the wire.
Totally understand that. And I remember the show shot was because I love that gun in Battlefield 1, and it was absolutely bollocks.
Can I just raise something though? Like when I was watching the trailer, because it did get debunked a little bit on the trailer audio, they're actually reusing things like from Terminator, like some of the voice acting was from Terminator, and there was also a clip where a British sounding soldier was saying like pull back, and someone actually found it, and it was from like a YouTube video, like a real British soldier, like a real British platoon was telling like the soldiers to pull back, like from like an airstrike or something, or an A-10 that was coming down. And it was actually stolen from like a real life British soldier saying pull back.
And that's something a AAA game studio would not and could not do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, why would you, if that was a real trailer, why would they use that random soldier saying pull back and then using a Terminator scene as well, where it was like a voice acting?
But maybe that pushes my prediction that it's going to be more futuristic than we would like to think. And I actually put that to Tom at one point. He says, have you not seen my tweets? I've been saying that all along. And I thought, well, you haven't, mate. You've just said it's near future.
He said 2040. He said 2030.
2030, then 2040. Yeah, it did. No, and look, it could be. And if you gentlemen look at that and you look at what he's actually said, it could be a lot more futuristic.
You know what you've seen of the screenshots, though? Do you think does that look like what you imagine it's going to look like, or is it a little bit different? From what you see,
I think it is. I do believe that the screenshots are something like the game, eventually is going to be.
Gave it away from me. The HUD in the video, the screenshots, so we can see the rocket.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah.
It looks very similar to what Tom Clancy's Hawks did.
Right. Okay.
It's a different color HUD, but it's a very similar HUD, and to me, it looked entirely feasible and believable. And yeah, it's got everything there to me that says this is real. It's a pre-render. It's not the best version, but it's enough to get you talking about it.
Yeah.
And he's definitely done that. Quark, I don't know if you've got any thoughts or know about this guy called Tom Henderson. Have you seen any of his tweets, any of his leaks, or anything like that?
Like I said, I haven't really followed up with most of the tweets and the leak infos that I've actually been checking out for the next Battlefield game, but they seemed pretty kind of legit to me. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but I guess the photos that I've seen look kind of legit, as per se, as the info that he's been given about the setting being taking place in what's it called, the map, which is like a space center in Japan. But
that's right. Apparently, it's based on a true place.
Really?
What was it?
Yeah, I can't say. That's why I said just a true place. I didn't even try it. It wouldn't go to plan.
Tangashima Space Station in Japan.
Sure.
That's what it's based off, apparently.
But is it not that Tom was saying it's basically the US, Russia, and China?
What he says is it's like you have contracts though, so like USA, that's it. Yeah, USA and then Russia. So like you have these two main factions, and then fallen nations who the USA recruit from. So like you have the British that all fight for America, and then apparently it was like I don't know, China all fight for Russia.
It's East versus West with
thin
veil over it.
Yeah.
Fallen nations to me means countries
There's been
that have
like
been
a
overrun.
massive weather. No, I think that he said that it was like a massive weather event, and all the nations like collapse, and you've got these two main superpowers: the generic USA versus Russia, and then fallen nations who you can recruit upon. And that's basically how
I always struggle when people use weather events in relation to the UK, because as we all know, the weather is so bad here usually.
You want to see it, mate?
We wouldn't know.
You want to see it in Scotland? We get every season in one day.
Oh, we've had the same thing. We've had like sun, hail, rain, snow.
Literally, I came home from work. On, when was it? Thursday. It was hailing. It then got sunny, and I was like, oh my God, because I ride a motorcycle. Then it started pissing it down. Then it was windy. Then it was sunny again, and I got home and it started hailing again. That's Scotland for you.
Yeah. I live in Birmingham. Back in the early 2000s, we had a tornado and everybody shrugged.
I know, it's like, what?
Yeah, nobody even cared. Like, what's it going to do?
I think that's a British man. The stiff upper lip. Yeah, the stiff upper lip.
Nothing to fucking blow up there, yeah.
So Proton was saying, can we go to the comments? Because we're on the sort of... we might not finish dot on an hour, but let's go to the chat. I'll go to Proton, because that's a good question. Does anyone know, as Tom said, anything about this? Can the fallen nations fight for anyone?
Yes, I believe so.
Because he's made it...
Was it certain? Was it certain ones though, or is it? Oh, can they fight for anyone?
Do they have to be in the same
Can
sort
they
of?
fight for America?
Can they? Are they in the same factions? But they can swap and change within the factions.
The way I read it was that anybody was free to fight for anybody.
There you go.
And it was player controlled. I mean, that was my interpretation of it, and that would make sense from a fallen nation. Yeah. Essentially, what you're recruiting is mercenaries. So, I think it'll probably be that. There's going to be an East versus West war.
You'd think that's the way they put it.
Stuck in the middle.
Sure. Yeah. And you've got Christy from Christy Gaming Zone doubting that Europe is separated nations in the story right now. Totally agree. Well, you don't know if, for argument's sake, if it was based on an apocalypse. You don't know. It might have hit Europe. In Europe, whether we're the outcast now, or
But I did hear something the other day about Battlefield 7 is going to be about the invasion of Jersey by the French.
Yeah, and you know what? Britain just send him some shits and ships, and off they go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're just we'll surrender.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
All right.
Have you heard the rumours of them using climate change in Battlefield 6? Yeah, that's another big thing. Is that a 90% one, that, Ben, or is it 100% one?
Yeah, it's like weather weapons, apparently, that we're using.
Weather weapons?
Yeah, like weather modifying weapons that tornadoes and shit.
It's really like a hack concept. Armour 3, their campaign tried to do it with earthquake weapons. Ooh. The entire campaign with the floor shaking, didn't do nothing,
and that was it.
Yeah. Like there's a war going on, so the buildings are destroyed anyway. So what's the difference?
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like the last bomb that just hit.
Yeah. The Greek island looks like shit anyway. So what's the earthquake going to do?
Exactly.
I don't know. I find weather weapons a hack concept. I mean, it's something we explored at the end of World War II. I know people have this thing about cloud seeding and chemtrails and but let's face it. If you're going to make it rain more here, nobody's going to care.
Yeah, you know what?
We'd be more concerned if the sun came out for longer than a week.
No, exactly. I was just going to say, because I start off blue and then the sun comes out and I turn white.
Yeah, that's it.
But I believe Quark is from Canada, so you know all about the cold.
It doesn't really, what do we call it? It gets a lot cold during the spring and summer here in Canada. Well, I mean, depending on the location you're in.
So where are you based? I've been to Canada once, and I'm sure you know I'm a tourist. It's the place I went to.
Really?
But
that's awesome.
Yeah, I went to obviously Niagara Falls. It was awesome for a day. and then it was like, oh, it's water going over a ledge, whatever. It's nice, but I actually I mean this. I honestly mean this with no disrespect, and the boys will know what I mean. I seen Niagara Falls, absolutely stunning, the falls and the Angel Falls, and I walked over to Niagara, New York, Niagara, went in the casino there. But when you walk back into the sort of residential area, it's like Blackpool. I kid you not. Yeah. Niagara Falls is like Blackpool. It's slot machines. What's that cafe called? Not Tom Henderson.
Tom Henderson.
Tom Henderson.
I can't remember, but decent coffee, to be honest, and pastries.
Stuff like Blackpool then.
Greg's.
Yeah, it's their equivalent of Big Greg's.
I lived in Blackpool for a year. When I was
oh, did you?
18, 19.
Mate, you've been to Niagara Falls then?
Well, I tell you what, Blackpool during the summer was absolutely amazing. Like,
it's buzzing.
Interesting people to drink with. Everywhere you went, you met cool people.
Every walk of life.
Yeah, like it was brilliant. And I live North Shore, so like the posh side of Blackpool, there is one.
Sure.
South Shore is the crime capital of the UK. So,
yeah, exactly.
We tried to build a wall at a time. But no, it was really good. It was a really nice place to live. And then winter came.
I tell you. It just popped into my head. I'll go to you, Bork, first. I'm not actually. I think I'm not overly sure. I know you're probably not a big Battle Royale fan, but what do you think about Battle Royale in the next Battlefield game? Apparently, it's coming out in 2022. What are your views on that?
If they put an anti-cheat in it, they've already won.
Yeah, probably. That was short and sweet.
Right, do you know what? This is a very unpopular opinion, but when it came out, Warzone, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good. And then the bigger it got and the crazier it got, the more I disliked it and the quicker I installed it.
What was that box? Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, I've gone back to Battlefield a couple of to Call of Duty because of the Battle Royale thing.
Okay.
Times when it came out, I felt it was really good, and it got weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker.
Right.
To the point where it wasn't fun to play. Uninstalled it, and I've gone back to it a couple of times. I don't think it's just not good.
Right.
To me, it's very weak. Do you know what? Make a more hardcore Battle Royale. Make shots count. Make people die.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
I don't want
make it interesting.
Pretend armor and all this. If I land a shot on you with a high
car 98 or whatever,
you better go down.
Yeah, you're dead.
It's like a hardcore battle royale.
Yeah, so, Quark, what are your views on Battlefield Battle Royale? What is it for you, or is it not?
I'm not a huge fan of battle royales, honestly. Okay. I haven't really been into that. I did try the battle royale on Battlefield 5. It wasn't really my kind of gig, but
Firestorm.
I've heard there's I did hear that it was going to be on the next Battlefield game, and there's some rumors that it's going to be free to play as well. So.
Apparently, it is going to be free to play. 2022. It's not coming out with the initial
release.
It has
to compete, doesn't it? It can't be. It can't be.
No, it can't. And they made a massive mistake by putting the last one behind a paywall. Sorry, Quark. Go on.
Oh, I had nothing else to say. I was like,
all right, okay. So, Ben, No Cinematics, don't forget to subscribe, and to Quark 007. I will be doing that myself when I finish the podcast. Ben, your views on Battlefield Battle Royale. I know they didn't make a good job of it last time. What are your views, and what do you think they should do?
I'm not asked about the Battle Royale, if I'm honest. I'm going to be honest. I really couldn't give a shit about the Battle Royale. But the thing with Battle Royale, it's overdone. And I understand why they do it, because obviously it makes shit tons of money. The only issue I have with Battle Royale is if that Battle Royale becomes too successful, they're going to start forgetting about the multiplayer.
The game itself, yeah.
That's where my issue comes. I'll probably play it, and it might be a decent bit of fun, but I think when they monetize the shit out of that battle royale,
because they will.
the more players going to suffer, and we all know it. If it's a free to play battle royale, you can say bye to the multiplayer if that becomes successful. That's the issue I have. I'll probably play it, but I'm not overly keen about battle royales. I think
see, I'll have a go. I'm not. I'm like Quark. I'm not a big fan of battle royale games. I do have a go. I've played Warzone, but I just seen Chris put something there. Battlefield V was pure trash. That was rushed. I think we all know that. I think even DICE and EA know that.
No.
But don't compare it to Battlefield 2021, which was developed for 5 years. Yeah, totally agree. My views on a battle royale in the next Battlefield game, you know what? Do it. Absolutely do it, but you've got to do it, and it's got. If you're going to do it, it's got to be free. And I think the rumor is it's going to be free.
It's got to stay true to the franchise.
Exactly. And I think Bort's got a point. Take that step outside the box and do a hardcore
that'd be good fun.
Battle royale. I think that'd be totally different. Absolutely, totally different.
No armor or anything. That might be quite cool.
Look, if you get shot, and
hardcore mode anyway, like it used to have hardcore game modes, and that's all gone. Oh, we're fragmenting the community with too many game modes. Do you know what? You used to have a modding community. You never used to worry about fragmentation. Bring back mods. How about that? Let us do something.
Yeah, exactly. Let the community get involved. I think what they need to do and what they should do is. Don't ignore what the community is saying. Don't take the community for granted. I think they did that last time. I think it was a massive mistake. Do you know what? I actually personally, and I'm being so optimistic here. I personally think that DICE and EA have learnt the lesson. Not so much EA. But I think DICE, I was always a big fan of DICE itself. I think they've possibly learnt the lesson. So
apparently it's a different team though. Like they're completely shaped up.
There's no one left, is there? Yeah. Because of Battlefield 5, they all left. But I'm just going to ask your views. I'll actually start with Quark. So Quark, forgetting about the leaks, forgetting about what's been said, what are you expecting from Battlefield? What do you think the game is going to come out, and what the release is going to be?
Well, that's a lot to actually take in. I honestly believe it will most likely take around in between the modern and futuristic style. It will absolutely be releasing in between October and November, I believe. Hopefully they won't delay it like
usual dates. Yep. So what do you want? What if you could say I want a Battlefield game, what would you ask for?
I want a very huge open scale fight on freaking large scale maps. 128 players as well, and hopefully a wide variety of weapons that they have on arsenals, and some weapon attachments that they're able to include if they have night and day light cycles.
That sounds really, really good to me. I couldn't even think what I was going to say. Borked, what do you think it's going to be, and what would you want it to be?
I think it's going to be disappointment.
You've said that. You've actually said that. I hope not.
I hope it's not disappointment. I hope they don't fuck this up for sure.
No.
I've been through this cycle so many times. I just refuse to get hyped about something that ultimately will be disappointment. I think that it's going to be about skins. It's going to be about the battle royale.
Please don't.
It's going to be about loot boxes. It's going to be about all the things that we hate. Pull that aside. The game itself is going to be no better than the Battlefield game we've seen. It might look pretty for a while, but pretty isn't everything gameplay is.
No.
And, how they screwed over the community with the TTK on Battlefield 5, to bring in new players, absolutely reeks of complete contempt for the core
the actual community itself.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see the same thing happen again. I genuinely don't want it to, but I know who EA are, and I know DICE are just a bitch of
This
EA
is a
now.
big problem.
I don't believe the people at DICE are bad people. I think that they're a great studio and that they've consistently made good games and a massive progress in terms of driving the industry forward. But I think ultimately the publishers have too much control, and they want to make it as child friendly as possible, and that's not for me. Now,
So for you, it's going to be quite disappointing.
yeah, don't get me wrong. I will probably buy the game because I'm a sucker for the franchise.
Sure.
I'm not going to.
There lies in sometimes a problem.
Yeah, I'm not going to pre-order it. I'm not going to do anything like that. I don't care about skins. I don't care about unlockable weapons. I don't care about cosmetics. I don't care about anything. But is it an enjoyable, decent Battlefield game? And that's the crux of my issue. I don't think it will be. I think it will look pretty. I think it will smell pretty, but it will still be dog shit underneath.
So, okay.
Smell the environment.
Oh God, I know. So I'm going to go over.
They don't know how much you can charge for smells.
Exactly. I'm going to go over to Ben. Ben, what do you think the game's going to be? You'll probably lean towards what Tom's saying. But what do you think? What do you think?
Optimistic than bought. I think this is going to be.
And what do you want it to be? Go with
Yeah.
what you think it's going to be, and what do you want
be?
it to be?
Yeah, I think it's going to be modern near future, 2040s, I think. I think we're going to get some modern tech, near future experimental stuff. But I think it's going to be pretty similar to what Tom Henderson's been outlining. I think it's going to be large scale combat, big destruction, all that kind of stuff. And I think it's going to be, like I said, I'm a bit more optimistic than Bort. I think this is going to be a great game. I think it's going to be really fun. I think lots of communities are going to get involved in this. I think there's going to be big hype around it, especially when it gets revealed. I think it's going to be a great reveal trailer. I think people are going to get hyped about it. I think it's going to be similar to Battlefield 1 hype levels. I think people are going to be really excited for this. And I also think that because of what Call of Duty's been, surrounding Warzone and things, I think people are going to jump ship and they're going to be on that Battle Royale. And especially if EA play their cards right, they make it free to play. I think it's going to be a great year for Battlefield. I think this is going to be the big comeback. And I think because they've had such a massive shake-up and a lot of this team who were previously involved with Battlefield 5 aren't working there, I think that's a big plus. And I think this game has a lot riding on it. And I think people want a modern shooter and a good Battle Royale to go alongside it.
So you're quite optimistic.
Yeah,
then,
I think this is going to be really good. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I actually look. I've give Tom a bit of hassle on Twitter, but I believe it's going to be pretty much there and thereabouts of what he's said. Not totally believing everything, but I think it's going to be near to a bit more future than maybe possibly some people will like or not like. I'm totally hyped for this game. For the shit I gave it in Battlefield 5, I am totally and utterly hyped for this game. I know Bork's going to be probably disappointed in that. But
all said and done, I'd absolutely love, and I mean genuinely love, to be proven wrong.
To be the game that we all want.
Yeah, do you know what? If this is the game that actually does it, I'll happily put my hands up and say I was wrong. And you know what? There's no ego in this. I genuinely would love for me to be wrong in this situation.
Well, that's a decent thing to say, mate. But you obviously don't think you're just. Yeah, exactly. I understand what you're saying. But I think. I possibly think it'll be what Ben said, 2040, 2030, 2040. But I think it's going to be a little more futuristic. Am I going to like that? Possibly going to get used to that. But, all I want is, forget about how flashy it looks, how flashy it sounds. Mm-hmm. Give me good gameplay over the way it looks and the way it sounds. And I'll be happy with that. I want a modern game. I want a modern Battlefield. I want what Quark said, I want a big environment. I want 128 players, which is definitely going to happen. You know, I want to get in an aircraft. I want to, you know, get in a vehicle. I want the old Battlefield experience back. So we've got, we usually do about an hour on the podcast. We've gone 65 minutes apparently. A couple of minutes are usually on the starting soon screen. I've actually really enjoyed this one tonight. Yeah. And like I say, Tom Henderson and all his fans and all his subscribers, please don't get me wrong. I have nothing against Tom. I just think, you know, if he knows anything more than he's saying, he would say it. I don't think he knows, you know, as much as he's letting on he knows. So I'm going to say good night. I'm going to say thank you for everyone that's joined in. Proton, you're so optimistic, mate. So anyway, I'm going to say good night. I'm going to ask Quark first to say good night and tell us a little bit about your channel, mate, just before you go.
All right, so I'm actually a content creator. I'm actually dedicated to making war history cinematic projects on Battlefield 1 and 5, mainly on Battlefield 5, but my guess is that I'm actually going to go ahead and also continue on making cinematic projects on the next Battlefield game. Hopefully, we would be able to also make a World War III setting as that as well, like an alternate World War III projects for my content.
So all they search for, if they go on YouTube, all they search for is Quark 007.
Yep.
Perfect. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this now or you're watching this afterwards, please go subscribe to Quark. Bork, say your good nights, mate.
Yeah, thank you all. Have a good evening. Look after yourselves.
Cool. And no cinematics. Obviously, people who watch this, they know North. Say your good nights, mate. He's gone. I think he's actually gone. So he's not. He's actually still there. Sometimes his mic actually goes off. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone in the chat. We're going to hang about. If Quark will do the same when I end the chat, and we have a sort of come down chat after the podcast. If anyone actually wants to join the podcast, please let us know. We're probably going to stay on this. I'm actually liking the way this works because we wait for people to come in. Apparently it's the audience and we're the stage. I'm going to carry on doing that. But I just want to say thank you to everyone that's come along and watched the stream. And if you're watching it afterwards, thank you. And really appreciate it. So I'm going to say good night. Gentlemen, good night.